Hello, I'm Chris Jones-Croyso. Welcome to the second summit tailored towards the construction industry. Now, this summit is part of a pan-Wales campaign to expand the supply chain to ensure that as many SMEs as possible are visible to buyers and are offered the support to find and bid for contracts. To open today's session, I'm joined by Stephen Tompkins, and Stephen is the Managing Director of Allen Griffiths Contractors, and Stephen is a senior leader with significant experience in civil engineering projects. So, Croeso, diolch Stephen, welcome. Now, Allen Griffiths has been a very well-known and highly respected Welsh Tier 1 construction company, of course, for many years. Now that you've been acquired by Tarmac, how has this impacted on you so far, and what's the future looking like for your Wales-based SME supply chain?
I think from a supply chain point of view, you won't see much difference. I think from a business point of view, we've got the backing of a massive parent company in Tarmac, and in turn in CRH, which is a global brand. So at the moment, we're developing our procurement systems and offering, and that's when the supply chain will see a real difference. It'll be a far more slicker, a far more easily accessible, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Griffiths has a profile on Sell to Wales. Is this where suppliers can see the opportunities that are available to them?
I think on Sell to Wales, the majority of the opportunities are on there. A lot of the time, it's we hold Meet the Buyer events. We hold various sort of events specifically for contracts and frameworks that we run. Sell to Wales is really good. I checked it this morning. There's a lot on there for suppliers. So it's a really good starting point. If there's anything on there that you can't really, that doesn't really apply to you, then there's always some good contacts on there that you can speak to about the work that we're doing.
Is there a pre-qualifying questionnaire on your page which maybe potential suppliers can complete?
We haven't got a pre-qualifying questionnaire on the page itself. And that's principally because we're quite diverse in the work that we do. We could be doing rock drilling, it could be traffic management, it could be drainage works, it could be light earthworks. So because of the diverse work that we do, there's not a sort of generic tool that we use for pre-qualifying. I think that's generally done. It's once you look at the job and you apply for the project that you want to be involved with or the opportunity that's advertised, then you go through a pre-qualifying stage.
So Stephen, are there opportunities for maybe small suppliers to create joint bids for work, and what support is available for them to put a special vehicle in order to do so?
At the moment, I'm not really aware of any special vehicles or any opportunities that would allow people to group together into a special vehicle. I think if we had an opportunity for a business, then we'd subcontract with them directly. I'm not sure how it would work. I'd be really interested in looking into it to see if it could work to give as many people in Wales the opportunity to work with us as possible.
Would you recommend SMEs to attend one of Business Wales' How to Tender workshops to give them maybe the tools of where to find and how to successfully bid for these contracts?
Absolutely. I think, a lot of the time you find that there's a lot of talent out there, and you don't want to overlook that talent, and you don't want to sort of miss out on working with some really great people. So I think it's important that people brush up on those skills so it doesn't effectively put them out the game, if you like, purely because they haven't got the great tendering skills that they should have.
Now, Stephen, sustainability and ethical procurement are essential ingredients for a supplier. How useful to Griffiths is the fully funded support in these areas from Business Wales' specialist advisors to ensure they are compliant not only to become part of your supply chain, but also other construction companies as well?
I think ethical procurement is especially when we're part of such a large parent company and a large international group, is absolutely crucial. We've got to make sure that we do the right thing, we employ the right people, and that everything in that chain is ethical. There can be no underhandedness. We work for some, a lot of the work that we do is publicly funded. you know, for Welsh Government and other sort of local authorities has got a very high bar to entry, and we've got to make sure that, you know, when that matriculates down in contract form to our suppliers, that, you know, we are highly ethical in the way that we do business.
Now, Stephen, you are an infrastructure delivery partner for Transport for Wales. What does that entail, and how will that support SMEs pan Wales?
I think the work that we're currently doing for Transport for Wales, if we focus on our Taffs Well depot, we're doing several aspects of that depot, and there are, you know, lots of pieces. We're self-delivering some of it. Other bits are subcontracted with local suppliers. We've got a local supplier that does the steel work, local supplier that, you know, provides the drainage works. We do our own earthworks, and we have our own plant. But again, some of the supplementary plant is provided by local suppliers. So we do, because of the volume of work that we're currently doing, rely heavily on local suppliers to provide us with the support that we need to execute the contracts.
And what kind of suppliers are you currently looking for?
At the moment, our supply chain is absolutely massive. And what we're trying to do is narrow that supply chain down to some real strategic suppliers that provide us with cost certainty, that provide us with excellent work on programme, on time, and above all, the most important thing, that work really safely. And I think that's what's important through Sell to Wales is identifying the companies that can provide us with all of those facets of delivery.
Are there any areas of your supply chain that you are having difficulty with in Wales?
I think at the moment, many of the suppliers that we have are strategic suppliers, and that includes us. We're all having difficulty with resources at the moment. So the physical resources to do the work itself, it's very difficult to get hold of those, especially at the skill level. So skilled labour, and obviously professional people as well, it's very difficult to get hold of those.
And do you think there's a solution to these problems?
I think what we look at is early careers. So we look at apprentices, year out, and graduates. And at the moment, we're designing a programme that would suit all three of those groups, just to make sure that we are organically growing the business and the skills we need within the business. We also look outside. We also look at people that are coming out of the armed forces, how we can deploy them in the business, people who are ex-offenders and how to deploy them in the business. And giving people a second chance is really important. I think, you know, if, you know, they've got a fantastic work ethic coming out of the forces, they've got some fantastic transferable skills, and, you know, they really do add some richness to the company.
And Stephen, finally then, if you were the owner of an SME, what would be your best advice to yourself when considering public sector contract opportunities?
The best thing to do is to identify as many opportunities as you can that suited you, that you could provide an excellent service. If you're going to use the Sell to Wales website and identify those projects, and that'll give you quite a wide breadth and scope of what you can look at and how you can deliver a really good product. But I think that's a good starting point because it gives you as many opportunities as you can that are targeted for your business.
Okay, diolch Stephen, thank you very, very much for that. Okay, so our final speaker today is Griffith Williams. Now, Kat is the Chief Executive of Construction Excellence Wales, the united voice of the Welsh-built environment sector. So, Kat, first of all, could you describe how Construction Excellence works here in Wales and what's your role within it?
Yeah, thanks. Constructing Excellence Wales was Welsh Government funded for over 18 years. It was based on the Legum and Ethan reports and most recently the principles in the Construction Playbook. Constructing Excellence Wales is all about best practice in construction, collaboration and bringing the whole supply chain together. I'm the CEO of Constructing Excellence in Wales. We represent members within industry and throughout the 22 local authorities.
How many members are involved then, Kat, and how does your organisation differ from CITB, for instance?
Well, we're not a training provider. We do provide training when we see gaps in the market, information and intelligence to fulfil. We are based on what the industry want to see, so companies throughout the whole construction supply chain, ensuring, for example, best practice in construction, looking at decarbonisation, looking at fair payment throughout the supply chain, and also encouraging a robust pipeline.
What trades can we typically expect you to represent, and what percentage are SMEs?
Well, we represent the whole of the construction and built environment supply chain. So that's from designers to main clients, right the way through to contractors and subcontractors. Within Wales, we have a predominance of micros and SMEs. So that is a large majority of the companies that we represent.
And what support, what guidance, funding is available from CEW, and how do your members obtain this support?
Support is really generated from the insight and intelligence from the sector. So the sector come to us, companies come to us, tell us the issues, the concerns, the problems that they're encountering and facing, and potentially gaps in information and intelligence. So we'll source speakers, we'll source the right people to fulfill that gap. We don't provide any funding. We actually are the ones that look for funding. But what we do is create an environment where it is based on providing that support, information and intelligence to and for the sector.
How do you recruit new members? And for anyone watching this, maybe, how do they get in touch?
It's all about being aware of what Constructing Excellence Wales are doing. Anybody can engage with us and be involved really with the work that we're doing. So a lot of it is word of mouth. It's a lot about companies extorting the virtues really of and the benefits of Constructing Excellence Wales. Like I said, anybody can be a part of the movement. We recruit anyone that wants to be engaged with us. So.
How do you think that the foundational economy objectives will benefit Welsh SMEs, and what can they expect the market to look like over the next year or so?
The foundational economy is really critical. We need to ensure that contracts are given to Welsh companies to ensure that our micros, SMEs and business is secure within Wales. We want to ensure that that is given to our Welsh companies and that we're not losing work from across the borders. What the marketplace really is going to look like in the next year or so, we're seeing large amounts of fluctuations, and that's about supply materials, the demand and price increases. But we have seen good initiatives and policy coming through from Welsh Government to help the market with that, with the PPNs, the procurement policy notices around decarbonisation and supply materials that have come out recently. So I think it's a wait and see really. We are still feeling the effects of COVID, of Brexit, and the issues that we have about supply materials and price increases and fixed price contracts.
Business Wales, of course, are delivering several workshops around how to tender, as well as other useful growth workshops. How valuable, Kat, would you consider it for members to attend these funded workshops?
I think it's integral, and I think it's a great initiative that there is now a vehicle really to pull the sector together. Lots of things are fragmented, so to be able to attend a workshop looking at this for the whole of the sector is really important, and for the ability to engage with our larger tier ones right the way through to our one-man bands, our micros and SMEs, and bringing all of that together in one space is a really great initiative.
And Business Wales are also creating a pan-Wales register of businesses from all sectors to make themselves more visible to buyers, to act as a matching service between the buyers and the suppliers. How important is this to both buyers and suppliers, and how successful do you think this initiative will be?
I think it's hugely valuable. It's really important to unearth all the companies that we do have out there throughout the whole of Wales, looking at the whole of the built environment and the supply chain, and looking at skills and expertise that we have within Wales. it's hugely beneficial in terms of competence and compliance as well. So looking at what companies we have that can demonstrate that, for example, within the Constructing Excellence exemplar criteria, or even just being a member of Constructing Excellence, demonstrating that you're prescribing to the principles of best practice in construction, and also trade associations that can clearly demonstrate competence and compliance with the companies that they represent. So one portal bringing all of that together and really doing a deep dive into that is going to be hugely important.
And buyers are desperately looking, of course, to expand their supply chains, especially in the SME space, and as local to projects as possible. Now, in your opinion, Kat, is this achievable? And should SMEs take advantage of this call out? And how should they prepare themselves for these opportunities?
Well, I think it's about the change in the market, actually. So net zero, decarbonisation, how do companies be ready for that? It fundamentally all hinges on a robust and transparent pipeline of work. So if companies can see that there is a robust and strong, sustainable pipeline of work, it gives companies an opportunity to get themselves ready, to get the skills that they need in order for the work that is on the horizon, as well as the work that is around the corner. We have huge amounts of competent and great businesses throughout the whole of Wales. So we just need to give them the assurances that work is there and they are ready and can plan for those opportunities.
Diolch fawr iawn, thank you so much for that. Okay, so our case study today is Jake Burley, and he's from Swansea Professional Painters and Decorators, and the firm is a public sector painting contractor business, and Jake is going to talk about all the support he's received from Business Wales.
My name's Jake and I own Swansea Professional Painters and Decorators. We're a public sector painting contractor business. We complete all aspects of painting and decorating, all through commercial, industrial and the public sector. This could be coatings onto metal exteriors, renders, internal decoration in offices, care homes, hospitals, all aspects of coating interior and exterior surfaces. I found painting and decorating at a young age. When I began working, I had to start working from a young age due to living in a youth hostel. So I started working in lots of different trades, trying to find what I liked. And when I found painting and decorating, I just loved it. I fell in love with the process. I fell in love with the work satisfaction. I knew just then that this is what I want to do. This is where I want to grow and I want to be successful in this area. I started working for myself in England at the age of 18. The company done really well over there and we began to grow. I then moved to Wales, where I then began Swansea Professional Painters and Decorators. I got help with Big Ideas Wales. They helped me develop a business plan for my company, which something we didn't have fully in place. They helped me go through everything in detail, which enabled me to grow the company and really put plans into place and systems. Then I got help from Business Wales with a business advisor. He gave me invaluable advice that helped me grow my company and put the right systems in place moving forward. Having that insight is just something that I would never have been able to get if it wasn't for Business Wales. Not knowing that that was there to start with means I struggled to start with and I learnt things the hard way, but once I got that help from Business Wales, I really managed to grow in the right direction and streamline the process. I highly recommend Big Ideas to anyone starting off, or even if they've already got a company, because it really enables you to have more insight into how a business should run. You may have your own systems in place now, but there's so much more to learn and so much more to know. When we first started growing, we were predominantly in the domestic area, just due to the natural growth of the company. That's where we come from. Then, as things got bigger and bigger, I soon realised that to actually want to push forward into the public sector. My business advisor pointed me in the direction of a tendering advisor. The tendering advisor helped me navigate Sell to Wales' website. He helped me go through the different areas and work out all the different terms. He then showed me how to complete the quote itself. He broke it all down for me into different stages, showing me the point scoring system, how it works, and showed me how to set out the actual initial quote. I always thought we weren't big enough for the council contracts in the public sector and was almost intimidated by the process. Having the help with it all broken down enabled me to understand it better, and it wasn't as intimidating anymore. It just seemed like this is just a normal quote, we just need to work through it in a different way. Before getting a lot of help from Business Wales and a business advisor and the tendering advisor and getting into the public sector, before then there was a slow and steady growth, but now I've been able to double the size of my company. We've really expanded. It's given me constant work and reassured payments. I actually found it was a really great way to grow my company and have consistent work coming in. We now just complete paint and decorating contracts for the public sector as well as industrial and commercial. What we're doing now in Gladstone, Barry, this involves working with an artist putting on a stencil onto the bridge influenced by the area around to help people use the public footpath and create a more inviting space. The artist has designed geometrical shapes that slightly overlap that are influenced by the surrounding areas, the landscape, the colours, the buildings, the hills. We then have coloured them in. We've even had the colours mixed to show the overlap. We were really excited about this project. We're really looking forward to it. There was a lot of planning that went into it first, and to now see it all come to fruition is amazing. Seeing the bright colours, seeing the people walk past and compliment it, it's such a great feeling. I think completing this project has really got us noticed and it's really got us out there. It's given other councils the confidence that we can deliver such a technical project on time and with high quality. We've had such great growth for the last 12 months, it's really humbling and I'm really proud of where we've come. Business Wales has really helped us grow in the public sector. They've given us a lot of confidence to take on new and bigger projects. Our future plans are to continue growing at a steady rate so that we can keep quality assurance. We're trying to be the best, not the biggest. My advice to young people starting a new company or even have an existing company, utilise the free advice available and you'll just never look back.
And that brings us to the end of the presentations. Thank you so much to all the speakers and all their input, of course. So to reiterate, how can you get involved? Now, to ensure that you can be matched, Business Wales are encouraging you, of course, to register with Sell to Wales, which is a vital business development tool to find contract opportunities within the public and the private sector. It's free to register and free to use. Approximately £6.5 billion is advertised each year on Sell to Wales, and roughly 80% of the contracts are smaller opportunities, ranging from £1,000 to £50,000. So there are opportunities out there for businesses of all types and all sizes. As they say, you've got to be in it to win it. So the Business Wales regional teams will be contacting you following this event to support you with your registrations and the other initiatives that have been discussed during this summit. So from me, Wilvar.